Okay, folks, so today we're going to be talking about Visual Studio Code and a little bit about how it works. So I was just telling the rest of the class I have this document I'm preparing that we'll go through, and I have some little animated segments and stuff in here. So this will be up soon to kind of help go through things. But I want to do a video too, just talking about how VS Code works, because this will be our main code editor. So a couple of things about VS Code. The menus at the top can be pretty self-explanatory. Up here we have file. So this is new text file, new file. We'll talk about profile soon, but you'll see here it says new window profile. Opening workspaces. A workspace is a place where you can work with a certain type of code. Like you can have a workspace for Python, one for JavaScript, one for HTML, things like that. We've got our open recents here, which is a good place to go if you want to open a recent file or workspace. You can add folders. They have a file explorer here where you can open things up on the left and work with them. We have save as. If you've already saved something with the name and file type, you can just keep hitting save or Control S to save it. But if you need to change the name or location, you can hit save as. We have share, revert file if you want to go back to previous changes, closing the editor and exiting. Then in the edit menu here, we have the undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, things like that you'd expect. This find and replace here can be very handy. And this does have the ability to use regular expressions. So regular expressions are something that recognizes certain patterns in text that's used in like programming, things like that. Do we have any Linux users in here by any chance? Okay. Linux has something called grep, and it's like a text pattern recognition thing. So like, let's say you want to find anything that had the letters AD inside it, but not the first letter or last letter, right? You can search for patterns of text. So not only can you do the normal find and replace, but you can do some advanced features using regular expressions. In our Python class, we use regular expressions in there too. It's used a lot in programming for things like username and password. If you want to look for patterns to make sure something's a valid username or password, like say it has the @ sign in the middle, and it has 5 characters, and it has @.com at the end and stuff like that, you can use these patterns. So the find and replace is pretty advanced. You can use basic settings or more advanced version. You can find stuff in files, replace stuff in files. Let's say you had a whole bunch of HTML files. You needed to change the links to one page in all of them, right? You can do that with one fell swoop. We have selection here, so you can select areas of text. You can expand selections, shrink selections, copy lines up. You can add the cursor above or below, things like that. View. You can view the command palette. So the command palette is the search bar up here, but it's got an advanced mode with a lot of extra functionality. So just using this at face value, this bar at the top, it will do some handy things. But if you hold down Shift and Control and hit P, it's going to give you this advanced mode with this little arrow where you can do some more advanced stuff. So it's the same thing as going up here to view and going to command palette. You can see here, if you ever need to see a shortcut key, you can see it to the side here. It says command palette Control plus Shift plus P. So all these shortcuts are mostly laid out here. We've got the appearance here, and so you can do full screen, Zen mode, essential layout. You can take away palettes, which are these little extra windows to the side. So if it's got a check mark, it's here, but you could take away the menu bar, the primary sidebar, secondary sidebar, status bar. Status bar is the one at the bottom here. But we'll talk about this one because it's got a lot of features a little bit later. You can add the layout here if you want to split this left and right. So you have like 2 windows, say HTML and CSS, left and right. You can do that. You can move the editor to a new window. You can work with columns or grids, however you want to lay things out here. We can bring out the Explorer window, which is over here. This has a bunch of files and stuff in it. We can bring out the window for searching, for source control. Source control, if you've heard of GitHub, that's kind of what it is, right? It's a way to manage versions of a certain file or piece of software. You can run a program, you can use extensions, and we have looked over here at this extensions bar here, which you can see is Control-Shift-X. This is where you add on those little extensions for HTML or JavaScript or whatever Python language. It basically adds functionality to VS Code for a particular language. We have chat. GitHub Copilot is like the AI thing from GitHub, so we don't have access to that here, but in the real world, you might be using it there. You can see the problem panel where it shows code problems, the output, which is the output from your code, a debugging console, which when you're going through and doing like error correction, figure out issues in your software, We'll talk more about this later, but basically you can set breakpoints where you can check variables and stuff. We don't use that so much in HTML, but we do in JavaScript, Java, Python, and the higher level programming languages. And then you have a terminal here. This is your command line interface. We've got Go. This just goes, and you can switch editor, switch group. You can go to a file, go to a symbol, and workplace. It just basically takes you to things. Run is where you run a program. You can start debugging, etc. This doesn't really apply so much to HTML, but applies to programs that run in order, like, say, Python or Java. Our terminal window. So if you need a new terminal, split terminal, run a task, build a task, configure tasks, etc. You can configure things to run automatically at certain times. So an example would be a web scraper. If you've heard of those, they go through the internet and look for information on certain things. So I had a friend who was really into Magic the Gathering cards, right? He wanted something that would constantly go and scrape the values of all Magic the Gathering cards on different websites and compile it at all times. So you had like an up-to-date reference, right? That would be like maybe a task that you would run repeatedly. And finally, you have help. So this is the last menu. You can go to welcome, show all commands, documentation, editor, playground, video tutorials, tips and tricks, all sorts of great references in here. YouTube, report an issue, view license, all this, right? Check for updates, all this stuff's in help. All right, now on the left here, you might have less stuff than I do because I've added some extensions, but you should have these 2 pages here. So this Explorer shows you files. If you have a folder with related content for your page, you can have that show up here. And then you're going to have these building blocks that are extensions. This is where you search for add-ons. You can also restart an extension if it's not working well. One thing I want to make you aware, because some of you are using JavaScript, so my Web 2 folks, let me get your eyes up here for a second. So Python likes to have an indent that is like 4 or 5 spaces worth. And for Python, indents are really important, right? But for JavaScript, it should be 2 indents, 2 spaces. So one thing you can set here, I mentioned that we have that control palette where you hold down Control and Shift and then hit P. Now you can start typing in preferences and then language, and it's going to bring up configure language specific settings. So for my Web 2 folks, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Open VS Code, and then I'll walk you through it step by step. So Control-Shift-P will bring up, or Control and Shift and P will bring up that spot where you can type at the top. You want to put in preferences, colon, and start typing configure language specific settings. Now, the normal search bar itself won't necessarily give you all functionality, but if you hold Control and Shift and hit P on the keyboard, that will give you the command bar. Here, let me bring up one of your computers on my screen here. Here, Kylie, I'll use yours. Just like demo and show the student computer here. Okay, so Control Shift P. Oops. Okay, I should be able to save. Preferences, colon, configure language specific settings here. Okay, and then you just choose. Was this where it was getting you to, or was it giving you a problem? Oh, okay, gotcha. So all we need to do here is choose which language we are editing. So we're going to do JavaScript here. All right, now you can type in another phrase here to add to this. It's saying at language, colon JavaScript, and that's how it looks at anything for JavaScript. I'm going to put a space and put indentation. So now it's showing me for all users using JavaScript, this is going to be the indentation. Right, all the stuff having to do with indentation. And we can get to our settings here in instance.json if we need to. Let's look through the rest of this. So there's a lot of stuff in here you could change. If you take away indentation, you'll see everything involved in JavaScript. I'll say edit JSON. So here we can change our tab size. Let's see if they reference, because there's another way to do it down here. Okay, so we could change it here. I think years. So years. Right. Yeah. So I think we're set on that. I'll hit Control S just to make sure that we save that. So here you can get to everything having to do with JavaScript. Now later we'll make what we call a workspace for JavaScript. So if you had a workspace, we'll go ahead and say, so we can add folder workspace here. Say workspace, hey workspace. Come back to the workspace part. But here where it says user JavaScript, you could also have workspace JavaScript if you had a current workspace. Let me open it online here because you can see it's better online. So let me make sure I release Control T here. Should be back to you. Alright, so online, if I were to go to that, I'm going to see up here it says Python data workspace because I was working with some Python. So if I were to go to that myself, I'll hit Control Shift P, and then my preferences, and I'll type Python for this language specific. Okay, so here I can see all my Python stuff. Now notice this says user Python and workspace Python. So this would be dependent. This would be anyone using Python, any user on here. And this one would be just for the workspace I created called Python that I approximately made, right? So just be aware of that because you can do something that affects all versions of Python or in your case JavaScript and just a workspace for Python or JavaScript, right? For the rest of you, HTML is not quite as stringent, like the indents and stuff don't really matter. So for Web 1, it's not really as much of an issue. Okay, so back to VS Code here. There's a lot of other stuff in there, so if you hit Control Shift P, you can kind of scroll through or start typing to see some of the things that you can do out here. If you're using Python, you can use different interpreters, so that's the thing that runs it. You can run environments. You can open launch.json, which tells like what things start when you open the software. So that's a little above our level for this class. We probably won't mess with that. You can toggle word wrap here, and notice that Alt-Z does the same thing. So you can turn on word wrap if you hate having long lines for like these links and stuff like that. You can have it wrap to another line, or you can just see that Alt-Z, of course, is here. Notice this little gear appears. So if you want to change that keyboard binding, you can do that there. Like if you want shortcut keys to be a bit different. All right, another thing that people like to mess with on here is like the code coloring and the theme. So I hit Control Shift P, I can type theme. So preferences, color theme, product theme, etc. You can also get to this from the menus up here from the view menu. But if you want to change your theme, that could be done here. So we have a lot of different views. Now your code coloring looks different from mine a lot of times, and that's because it is dependent on the theme. So depending on the theme you use, you're going to get different code coloring. One quick note up here, if I make a change to like my main.py file here, you're going to notice a circle here too. What that means in the tab is that it is an unsaved change. So you'll see that, like if I were to add some things, notice this turns to a circle now and the text turns red, right? So it means that there's an error and it's got unsaved changes. So I'll undo that and save it, and then this goes back to being normal X. Right, as far as extensions here, this of course is the added functionality. You can type in things. Like say you're working in JavaScript and you wanted some add-ons. Let me switch to my JavaScript window real quick. So go to these extensions, we'll type in JavaScript. That's going to show me extensions I can use. It shows you if they're certified or verified Microsoft ones. And we'll see if you can restart them here, but I can choose other stuff too if I need the things to do certain things or add functionality. I have the gear down here, and so this will manage this profile. This is just settings in general too. If I click on this, we can bring command palette, the profile, settings, extensions, keyboard shortcuts, code snippets, tasks, and themes. So our color scheme, like on theme, etc. We can check for updates, and we can sync our settings to the cloud. So my profile, HTML PHP, I can go to the profiles here and see what that is. So this is active, and what it means, I've given it a name here, profile icon. I can set to be the profile default for new Windows, and I can configure sources for it, like settings, keyboard shortcuts, tasks, codes, snippets, and extensions. And I can see where it's at. Right? So this is one way you can make a profile. So for those of you with JavaScript, you might want to click on this gear down here and go to Profile, Profiles, and then make a new profile here for JavaScript and HTML. Nothing bad will happen if you don't, but in the real world, if you work with multiple languages, you want to separate them a little bit because they all have different extensions and things like that. All right, we'll talk more about this later, and I'll put up that document soon, but just a little bit to get you started. One last thing I want to talk about too, before I forget here. At the bottom here, we have a status bar. So this will open a remote window. You don't have that. That's for SSH. It's basically a secure way for me to log on the server. We can see our problems and our alerts here. And then over here, we have this little chime for alarms or alerts, etc. And so if you had code errors, you can see those down here. So you can click that to bring up problems, output, code reference log, ports, debug console, terminal. Ports is kind of like the ports you might have heard about on routers, things like that, servers. So you can use port 40. Certain languages like PHP has to live on a server, right? So sometimes this whole port concept is important because they have to emulate a port like it would on a server through network hardware. With HTML, this is certainly inconsequential. Debug console can be helpful for things like JavaScript. Terminal, once again, if you use command line stuff, it'll be easier there. Not as big a thing for things like HTML. However, for things like Python, you do a lot of stuff from the command line. Code reference log, and then your output is just any output from the code. So there's a lot of stuff in here. This can be changed here. We can clear output, lock this, and we can get rid of this window if we don't need it. Also, remember that Control Plus and Control Minus will zoom in and out if you want to magnify your view. Alright, I think that covers the basics for now. We'll keep working with VS Code, and then we get to a spot where we need some of the more complex stuff. We will revisit this. Any questions so far?